If you don't get them to quit alcohol, they won't just become an alcoholic, they'll destroy your life. If you've tried everything to get them to stop drinking, but nothing's worked, try not to panic, because what I'm about to show you will make them stop instantly. You'll need to start applying this now as a last resort before you push them away for good. If used correctly, not only will you be able to stop them drinking instantly, you'll be able to do it without arguments and minimum effort. Before I tell you how to solve this problem, you're probably thinking, who's this guy and why should I listen to him? So I'm going to tell you. 5 years ago, I was in a relationship that was failing. And sadly, our relationship was built around boozy nights out. Although she wasn't a big drinker, nor was she a bad influence, it only took one drink and that was enough to set me off all weekend, causing massive arguments and multiple mini breakups along the way. I was 29 at the time and I noticed a pattern of failing relationships due to alcohol. So I decided to make serious changes to my life by quitting. 5 years later, I'm here talking to you with over 100 videos on quitting alcohol. I've also got a free video course on quitting alcohol. Link is in description, it's free for a limited time only. So let's get into the video. You've tried everything, but they still won't stop. They know, and you know, that drinking is causing them problems. You're doing your best to help, you've tried everything, but they just won't listen. It's just so frustrating. If you could just get them to stop, most of your relationship problems would be solved. They know that, and you know that. So why is it so hard? I want you to imagine this. They've most probably drunk for years, possibly even decades. Their relationships are built around drinking in places that serve alcohol. It's the only way they know how to socialize and relax. By quitting alcohol, they're gonna have to drastically change their life, potentially even kill relationships that they even had before you. This might even include family. They're going to have to find new hobbies and interests. If they're not going to the pub or sitting at home drinking, they are going to become agitated and slowly become aware of everything they don't like about themselves, possibly even about the relationship. This can be a painful reality, and I call it sober clarity. It hits you like a ton of bricks. So what you're asking them to do isn't just quitting alcohol, it's rebuilding their whole life. Admitting that who you are and what you've been doing for X amount of years isn't serving you anymore can be a daunting prospect for anyone, even if it is for the better. The fear of the unknown or uncertainty of how their life will look when they stop drinking can be a pretty scary thought. I know this because it was me. I always say that stopping drinking and being a person that identifies as a non-drinker are two completely different things. The first time I quit was for 10 weeks. I was certain I would never go back. You might see a similar pattern with your person. They have good intentions to stop. They stop for a couple of weeks, maybe even a couple of months, but then they go back. This is because they haven't begun to build a new identity. This is why I failed. I was still conditioned to think and act like a drinker. I was even going to the same places I did when I was drinking. Eventually, out with friends, which was originally planned to be a civilized meal, I ended up with a drink in my hand. I have a whole section in my video course about building your new identity when you stop drinking. Link is in bio. I strongly suggest that you check it out. You might be worried if you keep trying to get them to stop, you'll make them angry. Even worse, pushing them away. You might have already experienced this. I used to get so defensive if my girlfriends used to ask me if I planned on having a heavy night before I went out drinking. But not as annoyed as I would get if they asked me to stop drinking once I'd already started. I'll be honest, I used to get angry. I used to think, if I want to keep drinking, I will. Maybe this is because I had a problem, or maybe it was because they were trying to force me to do something that I just didn't want to do. When I eventually stopped drinking, there was no anger involved. I just stopped. It was like a switch that went off in my mind. I was no longer going to drink again. It was as easy as that. The best bit, my girlfriend didn't even ask me to stop. I just did it by myself, despite her wanting me to stop and trying to get me to control it on multiple occasions. Even though deep down she wanted me to stop drinking, she never said the words, "Ben, please stop drinking." In fact, she stopped trying. It even seemed like she stopped caring. To be honest, I felt that she just lost interest. When I realised she wouldn't put up with this anymore, I was faced with a dilemma: quit drinking or have another failed relationship on my resume. A year into me stopping drinking, she actually said to me one time, "Ben, I used to look at you when you were hungover and I used to think to myself, why am I with this man?" And to be honest with you, that hurt. Previous girlfriends that I'd had in the past had always wanted me to stop drinking, but there was a difference. They always drank themselves, sometimes even drinking at home and taking drugs. I'd come home after work, they would be drinking, they'd offer me one harmless drink, and that would be enough to set me off all weekend. The difference is here, they'd be able to stop and call it a night, and I wouldn't. The difference was this time, she didn't drink at home, nor did she instigate that we go out for the first drink. So if you're someone who drinks but wants your person to stop, then maybe being a good example and not keeping alcohol at home is a good start. You could even go as far as eliminating venues and environments that serve alcohol in your social life. I'm telling you, in the beginning, this makes all the difference. Once they can see how much yours and their life improves, this can be a powerful motivator going forward. And not only that, you can rebuild your identities together as non-drinkers, which won't be as daunting if you're doing it together in a team. The reality of the situation is, if you want them to stop drinking, then letting them come to their own conclusion that they want to stop is the best way. As humans, we are either running away from pain or towards pleasure. Unfortunately, when it comes to quitting alcohol, we need to come to our own painful experience and realize that we need to stop drinking. We are more afraid of losing something in our lives than gaining something. Maybe if you've tried everything, the best option for you might be is just to not try at all. It sounds counterproductive, but it is very effective. I have friends that have gone to both expensive rehab clinics and AA meetings and drunk straight after. Then I have myself who stopped instantly. I'm not saying giving them an ultimatum that it's you or drinking, but sometimes just caring less and letting go of the outcome works. If you want more help from me, I cover all of this in great detail in my 7-day sober course. The link is in description. Check it out, free for a limited time. Just remember, alcohol cravings are the root cause of drinking. I have a full video on how to stop cravings instantly, and you can watch it here. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions for me, and I'd be happy to answer. Please like and comment, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.